Okay. Hello everyone. This is my theory on lateral thinking and linear thinking. So Digibro describes linear and lateral thinking as trains of thoughts, linear being one train of thought, lateral being many. Okay? I like to think of it as a grid. This is a linear person's thoughts. Okay? Right? And this is the thought they're on, and these are the ones that connect to it. Okay? These are all very relevant to that thought that they're currently having, and they're all very in the box solutions, you might say. In the box thoughts. This is a lateral person's thoughts. This is the thought they're on. Okay? And they're thinking about all this BS. They're thinking about all of it. Here's all the in the box solutions. And as you go farther and farther out, these thoughts become more outrageous and more and less obvious, you might say. Like you're trying to solve a problem. These are the most obvious solutions. And this one out here is like it's the least obvious. This outer ring are the least obvious answers. And a lot of is the farther you get from the box, the less likely these ideas are to actually work because of their somewhat irrelevance. But like you might actually get one that's like a really good one. You're like, oh, this one's gold. This one's perfect. This one solves a solution and it doesn't have any of the problems that these more obvious ones have. But a lot of the time, most of these guys won't, just completely unrelated and just random details. This is a linear person's thoughts. There you are, the most obvious solutions, and they think through these obvious solutions, and they're like, okay, let's move on to, then we can move on to the next guy, and then that becomes the new center of their thought. It's not necessarily that, like, a linear person doesn't think as much. It's just they're not connecting all these fucking dots. There's not all this unimportant garbage in their head. In a conversation, a lateral thinker might be like, I don't know, like, here, we're talking about this. Oh, do you guys remember this? Like, oh, how'd you get there? And well, in your head, you just skip over these two bits and then you start talking about this guy. I do this all the time in conversation. A linear person's more likely to be like, here we are, here's the next thing, and so on and so forth. Yeah, like this. Like, oh, we're here, now we're here, we're talking about this, now we're talking about this, now we're talking about this. Lateral person can do that, but they're more likely to start here and then connect the dots than to be like, oh, here we are, now we go out and see what we can find. It's more like, here's what, oh, we're talking about this, you guys, oh, I feel like these are somehow related. Anyway, the last thing I want to mention is that the more, like, a very linear person is not this. They're not this one square. They're this. This is the thought they're on, and these are the following thoughts they can have. The more lateral person you are, right? If this ring right here is the most linear person, then this is then this is the next step. This guy would be the next step. Very linear, somewhat lateral, and then you get to this guy on the outside, and it's just chaos. It's very lateral. What is happening here? What is going on? I don't know. They could tell you. A lexical thinker. See, this is also, if you want to know how this affects lexical and linear thinkers, whatever, you're gonna have to deal with it. If you want to know how this affects linear and lexical thinkers, or lexical and impressionist thinkers, right? A more lexical person could tell you how they got from point A to, say, point B. But an impressionist thinker would just be like, here we are now. Like, I couldn't tell you how these are related. I just know this is a thought I'm currently on now.